Hi friends, this is the fourth section of the Spring Boot Security and JSON Web Token tutorial series. In this tutorial, we will implement Spring Boot Security using JSON Web Token. We will manage role-based authorization using JSON Web Token. Also, we'll understand what is JSON Web Token expiration date and make use of it. For this, I'll be taking reference of my website javanews.com. Go to Web Series, Spring Boot Security JSON Web Token complete tutorial series. The tutorial that we'll be looking at today is implement Spring Boot and JSON Web Token security. In this tutorial, we'll be implementing Spring Boot and JSON Web Token security. We'll be modifying the Spring Security project that we had created in the previous tutorial to make use of JSON Web Token security. So previous tutorial we had created the Spring Security project which made use of the basic authentication. Now we'll be modifying it to make use of JSON Web Token security. The implementation will be dividing it into two parts. In the first part we'll be generating the JSON Web Token. In the second part we'll be validating and making use of this JSON Web Token for authorization. Let us begin with the first part, generate JSON Web Token. So if the username and password sent by the user is successfully authenticated by the server, then the server will generate the JSON Web Token and return it back to the client. We'll be making use of the postman to make request to the server. So using this postman, we'll be making a post call to the URL /authenticate, and also in the body we'll be passing the username and the password. The server will receive this post request, and from the body it will take the username and password and authenticate this particular credentials. If the authentication is successful, then it will generate the JWT using the secret key, and finally it will return back the JSON Web Token to the client. First we'll need to download and import the Spring Boot security project that we had created in the previous tutorial. So go to this link here. So in previous tutorial we had looked at Spring Security architecture and also implemented Spring Boot security. Below here I have given the video for this tutorial. You can go through this. We'll be modifying this project, so it would be better if you first go through this tutorial. And here below I have given the source code that we had implemented. Click on this link. This will download the project. Unzip the contents of the downloaded file. It is a Maven project, so import it in Eclipse. Once you have imported this project in Eclipse, go to pom.xml, right click and do run as Maven install. This will build a project. So here the project, it has been successfully built. If you go to the pom.xml, in the pom.xml we can see that we were making use of two dependencies. One was the Spring Boot Starter web dependency and the other was the Spring Boot Starter security dependency. Next we'll be adding the dependency for JSON Web Token. So the dependency that we'll be adding is the JJWT dependency. Here JJWT stands for Java JSON Web Token. So let us add this dependency. Let us add the dependency. The group ID will be io.json web token. The artifact ID will be JJWT. And finally the version will be 0.9.1. On successful authentication, we'll be creating the following JWT. So in the header, we will be having type as JWT. The algorithm that we'll be using to create the signature is HS512. So this will be specified in the header. In the payload, first we'll be having the subject. So the subject will be the username. So the user, he will be sending the username and password in the body. So that will be the username here, the subject. If this particular username, whatever roles that he is having, accordingly we'll be adding, if he's a admin, then we'll be adding is admin true. If he's a user, then we'll be adding is user is true. If he's having both the roles, admin as well as user roles, then we'll be having both is admin true as well as is user true. Finally, we'll be specifying the expiration date. For creating the signature of the JSON Web Token, first the data string is created using the base encoded format of the header and the base encoded format of the payload. Once the data string is created, then finally the signature is created by using the algorithm that we specify in the header, that is HS512, to which we pass the data string created as well as the secret key. So the secret key is present only with the server. In the previous tutorial we had seen that if there is a man in the middle attack and someone intercepts this JWT, then even if that particular attacker he changes the payload, still he will not be able to change the signature because he does not have the secret key. And when the server he receives this tampered JWT, he will check that yes, this signature it is different from the one that the server is creating using the payload and JWT. So he will understand that yes, this JWT has been tampered with. In the application.properties, we'll be specifying the value for the secret key and the expiration time. So we have already seen that secret key it is used for creating the signature, and the server can then check if the JWT it has been tampered with or not. And the expiration time, this is the time for which this particular JWT is valid. So here in the payload we have specified the expiration date, which is in milliseconds, which specifies the date till which this particular JSON Web Token is valid. In the application.properties, we'll be specifying a secret key as Java in use, whereas the expiration time, suppose we want the JWT to be valid for 5 hours from the time it has been created. So we'll be specifying this 5 hours in milliseconds, which will be this value. Go to application.properties. Here we'll be specifying the secret key and the expiration date in milliseconds. Create the property for secret key. Give the value as Java in use. Next, create the property for the expiration date in milliseconds and give it the value 18 and 6 zeros, which will be equivalent to 5 hours. Next, we create the JWT util class. As the name suggests, this class will have the utility methods corresponding to the JWT, like create JWT or check if the JWT is valid. Initially, we'll be defining only the methods to create the JWT. Other utility methods we'll be creating later as needed. Let us have a look at this class. The JWT util class will be using the service annotation so that the Spring application can load this class. Previously in application.properties, we have defined the JWT.secret property as well as the JWT.JWT expiration in millisecond properties. So these both properties will be loading them in the string secret and JWT expiration in milliseconds. For this, we'll be making use of the value annotation. Also, we need the secret key as well as the JWT expiration in milliseconds in order to create the JSON Web Token. Next, we'll be creating a method named generateToken, which takes the parameter as user details. So in previous tutorial, that is understanding Spring Security Architecture and implementing Spring Boot Security, we had defined a custom user detail service. So here below we have defined a custom user detail service. This method it returns the user details object. So here we have the load user by username, to which we provide the username, and depending on this username we get the user details object. So this user details object will be passing it to the generateToken method of the user JWT util class. In the generateToken method, we'll first be creating a map which will be used to store the claims. So the claims are all the properties that we define in the payload. The subject and the expiration date, these are standard claims. The claims other than the subject and expiration date, we'll be storing it in the claims map that we have just created. So other than subject and the expiration date, we only have isAdmin true. Other than isAdmin true, we can have isUser true also, depending on the role. So only isAdmin true or isUser true or both will be stored in the claims map that we have just created. So here below we'll be checking the roles that this particular user is having. So here from the user details object, using the getAuthorities method, we get over the existing roles for this particular user. If in the roles there is admin role, then in the claims we are putting isAdmin to true. If in the roles there is role underscore user, then we are in the claims we'll be putting isUser true. We then call the doGenerateToken method, to which we pass the claims map that we just created. We will also be passing the user details.getUsername, which will be the subject property in the payload. So here we have the doGenerateToken method, and here then using this claims and the subject, we'll be creating the JSON Web Token using the JWTs class, which is provided to us by the JJWT dependency that we have just added in the pom.xml. Using the builder method of the JWTs, we'll first be setting the claims to the JWT that we want to create. So here to the setClaims method, we'll be passing the claims map that we just created. Next we'll be setting the subject. So subject will be the username, so we'll be passing it. Next we have the issueDat property. So to this property we set the date when this particular JWT is being created. So here we create a date instance, and to it we pass the system.current millisecond to specify the date, exact date when this particular JWT has been created. Next we specify the expiration property. So this will specify the time till which this particular JSON Web Token is valid. In application.properties, we have already specified the JWT expiration in milliseconds, which we want it to be as 5 hours. So this particular JSON Web Token should be valid for 5 hours. This 5 hours we have specified it in milliseconds. So here for the set expiration, we'll be creating a new date, and to this date we'll be passing the value that system.current milliseconds plus the JWT expiration in milliseconds. So we'll be getting a date which will be 5 hours later. Next, we'll be creating the signature for our JSON Web Token. For this, we'll be making use of the HS512 algorithm. Also, we'll be making use of the secret key that we have specified in the application.properties. Finally, the compact method reduces the size of the JSON Web Token that is created. So let us create this JWT util class. Go to Eclipse and create a new class. The class will be created in the config package. Name will be giving it as JWT util. Create the variables named secret and JWT expiration in milliseconds. Next, create the setters for both these variables. Then using the value annotation, we'll be loading the values that we have specified in the application.properties, both for the secret as well as for the expiration in milliseconds. Import these annotations. Also, for the JWT util class, we'll be making use of the service annotation. Next, create a method named generateToken, to which we'll be passing the user details object. In this method, we'll first be creating a map named claims, where we'll be storing the JWT claims. Next, from the user details object, we'll be getting the list of roles that this particular user has. If the roles it contains the admin role, then we'll be putting in the claim is admin true. Similarly, if the roles it contains the user role, then we'll be putting is user true. We will now be defining another method named doGenerateToken, which will be responsible for creating and returning the token. To this method, we'll be passing the claims and the username. Rename username to subject. Using the JWTS builder method, we'll be creating the token. First set the claims, then the subject. Next, we'll be setting the issued at date, which will be the current date. Import the Java util date. Next, we'll be setting the expiration date. So this will be the current date plus the expiration time that we have specified in the application.properties. So that we have loaded here. Next, we'll be creating the JWT signature using HS512 algorithm. Also, here we'll be passing the secret key specified in the application.properties. And finally, call the compact method of the JWTS builder. Finally, we'll just need to make one more change. This method, it should be public, as we'll be calling it from the authentication controller that we are going to create next. We will now be creating the authentication request class. The JSON input provided by the user will be unmarshaled to Java object using this class. So the authentication request class is a model class having two fields, the username and password, to store the username and password sent by the user. So let us create this class. Go to Eclipse, and here we'll be creating a new class named authentication request. Package will be com.javanews.springboot-security.model. Create fields named username and password. Next, we'll be creating getters and setters for them. Next, we'll be creating the constructor using the fields. Finally, create a default constructor. Next, we'll be creating the authentication response class, which is a model class to return the token on successful authentication. So here we'll be returning the JSON Web Token that will be created. So this will be the authentication response class. It will be having a single field token which will return the JSON Web Token. So let us create this class. In the model package, we'll be creating the authentication response. Name it authentication response. Create field token. Next, create getters and setters for it. Next, we'll be creating a constructor using the token field. Finally, create the default constructor. Next we'll be creating the authentication controller class, which will expose a post REST API to take the username and password from the user. And if the user is authenticated, then we'll be returning a JSON Web Token. For authentication, we'll be making use of the authentication manager, which we have already configured in the Spring Security configuration. So if you go to Eclipse, here in the config package, in previous tutorial we had created the Spring Security configuration, and here we had configured the authentication manager using the authentication manager builder. Using this authentication manager builder, to the authentication manager we had provided the custom user detail service that we had created, and also we were passing the password encoder, which was the bcrypt password encoder that we had created. This flow will be quite similar to the previous Spring Boot security project where we had seen the Spring Boot security architecture. So if we go to this previous tutorial, in this tutorial below we had seen the Spring Security architecture. Here we had seen the Spring Security architecture. So here we had the authentication manager, which makes a call to the authentication provider, which in turn makes use of the user detail service to get the details of the existing user, and then the authentication is done. So even in here the flow will be quite similar. Initially the user will send an authentication request to the post API exposed by the authentication controller. In the body he will be sending the credentials. The authentication controller will then call the authenticate method of the authentication manager. The authentication manager in turn will make a call to the authenticate method of the authentication provider. So it is here in the authentication provider that the actual authentication takes place. Using the username, the authentication provider will then load the user details from the custom user detail service and compare them with the incoming credentials provided by the user. If the authentication is successful, then an authentication object is returned back to the controller, else an exception will be thrown and we'll be getting out of the controller method. In such a scenario, an exception will be returned back to the user as a response. However, if the authentication is successful, then the controller will again fetch the user details using the username from the custom user detail service. Then using this user details object, it will call the generate token method of the JWT util to generate a token, and then this token will be returned back to the user. Let us have a look at the authentication controller that we'll be creating. So in the authentication controller, we'll be auto-wiring the authentication manager and the custom user detail service that we have created before. Also we'll be auto-wiring the JWT token util that we created just now. Here it will be having a single method create authentication token, which will be a post API. To this post API we'll be passing the request body that will be the authentication request, which will be having the credentials. Next we'll be calling the authenticate method of the authentication manager. So to this authenticate method we'll be passing the credentials that have been provided by the user. So that is the username and the password. We'll be passing it to the authenticate method by creating an object of username password authentication token. If the authentication is not successful due to wrong username or password, we'll be getting this bad credentials exception and we'll be throwing the exception invalid credentials, and we'll be coming out of this create authentication token method and returning this response back to the user. If the authentication is successful, then we'll be calling the load user by username method of the custom user detail service that we have created already. To this we'll be passing the username that is provided to us by the user, and we'll be getting the user details object in response. Then using this user details object, we'll be calling the JWT token util generate token method. This will create the JSON Web Token for us. Finally, using this token, we'll be creating the authentication response object and we'll be returning it back to the user with the status code 200. Let us create this authentication controller class. Go to the controller package and create a new class. Name it authentication controller. Use the REST controller annotation for the created controller class. Next, in the authentication controller class, we'll be auto-wiring the authentication manager, the custom user detail service, and also the JWT util class. Next, we'll be exposing a post API by creating a method named create authentication token, which will return us the response entity. This method, it will take the authentication request as the input. Also here we'll be making use of the request body annotation. Next we'll be exposing this as a post API using the request mapping annotation. value will be /authenticate, and method will be request method.post. For now, let this method return null as response. Later we'll be returning the JSON Web Token as a response. Next we'll be making a call to the authenticate method of the authentication manager. It takes the argument as the username password authentication token, to which we'll be passing the credentials given to us by the user. Next we'll be placing the authenticate method call in the try block. First we'll be catching the disabled exception which is thrown by Spring Security if the user account corresponding to this particular username is disabled. Also, as this is a checked exception, we need to add the throws exception to the method signature. We will also be catching the invalid credentials exception, which will be thrown if the username password are not correct. If the authentication is successful, then using the user detail service.loadUser by username method, we'll be getting the user detail object. Also, for the load user by username method, we'll need to pass the username, for which we have to load the user object. Next we'll be making a call to the gwtutil.generateToken method. To this we'll be passing the user details. Finally we'll be returning the generated JSON Web Token back to the user. We'll be storing the token in the authentication response, which will be returning back to the user. For this we'll be making use of the response entity, and the status will be returning it as 200. Finally, in the Spring Security configuration we'll be making the following changes. First we'll be allowing the /authenticate URL without any authentication. So here we have exposed a post API with the URL /authenticate. This is the first call that the user will be making in order to generate the JSON Web Token. In the body he will be sending the username and password. So we do not want to apply any security configurations and always allow this particular URL. The next change that we'll be making is we will be explicitly creating the authentication manager bean. So we have already configured the authentication manager using the authentication manager builder, but Spring Security it needs us to create this authentication manager bean. So let us have a look at these changes that we are going to make. So here we are going to create a bean of type authentication manager. Next, in the configure HTTP security method, we are going to always allow the /authenticate URL. All other requests they will need to be authenticated by HTTP basic security for now. Later on we'll also be removing this HTTP basic security as we are going to use the JSON Web Token. Let us make these changes. Go to Spring Security configuration. Here first we'll be creating a bean of type authentication manager. Create a method which returns the authentication manager. From this method we'll be calling the super.authentication manager bean. So this is the authentication manager that we have already configured using the authentication manager builder. We will place this bean after we have configured the authentication manager. Next we'll be configuring the HTTP security to permit the authenticate URL. Using ANT matches we'll be checking if the URL is /authenticate, then we'll be permitting it. For all other requests we'll be authenticating them. So we are done with all the changes. Let us now test if we are able to generate the JSON Web Token on successful authentication. So in the authentication controller we are going to add some debug points. Add some more debug points here. Also we'll be adding some debug points also to the Spring Security classes. So this authentication manager it calls the authenticate method. So go to the implementation. The implementation that we are looking for is the provider manager. So here go to the authenticate method. Here we are in the authenticate method. So just add a debug point here. Another debug point we'll be adding will be the DAO authentication provider. So it extends the abstract user details authentication provider, and here we'll be having the authenticate method. So the provider manager calls this authenticate method. So just add the debug point here. Now let us start this application. So go to source main Java, and here go to security, Spring Boot security application, and debug as Java application. So here Spring Boot security application, it has started successfully. Next go to Postman. Here create a new request. It will be a post request. The URL will be localhost 8080/authenticate. In the body we'll be adding the username and password. So it will be of type raw and not text but JSON. So first we'll be adding the username. Username will be admin. Password also will be keeping it as admin only. So let us do a send. So here if you go to Eclipse now, remember my decision, I don't want to open it in the debugger perspective. So here we are in the create authentication token method. In the authentication request, we'll be getting the username and password that we have provided using Postman. Next, just do F6. So now we are in the provider manager class. So here provider manager, it has a list of providers. One of those providers will be the DAO authentication provider. So here the DAO authentication provider authenticate method has been called. The DAO authentication provider retrieves the user from the user detail service. So we have already defined the custom user detail service. So here the DAO authentication provider will use this method retrieve user, where it has written the logic to retrieve the user details using the username. So here we have the user detail service. So let us add a debug point here. All these classes, they are Spring Security jar classes. We are just going through them once. So this is the custom user detail service that we have defined. So using this, we'll be loading the user details object and then comparing it with the credentials that have been provided by the user. If the authentication is successful, an authentication object will be returned back. So here currently we are not getting any exception from this authenticate method. So the authentication is successful. As the authentication is successful, next we'll be retrieving the user details object again from the custom user detail service that we have defined. Next, we'll be calling this JWT util.generate token method, to which we'll be passing the user details object. So here we are in the generate token method and we have the user details object. So we first retrieve the roles from this user detail object. Currently we have just added the admin role for this particular user. So in this if loop I have written the admin word wrong. So this should be role underscore admin. So now in the claims, the admin will be added is admin true, and we'll be calling the do generate token, to which will be providing the claims and also the username. Then using this JWTS, the token will get created. So here we have got the JWT token, which will be returning back to the user using the authentication response. So if you now go to Postman, here we are getting the status code as 200. And also below here we are getting the JSON Web Token. Now that we have got the JSON Web Token, we can look at its content by using this online JWT decoder. So here we'll need to paste the JSON Web Token. Copy this. Decode JWT token. So here these are the claims that are present in the token. So is admin, we have kept it as true. The username is admin, which will be the subject. Then we have the expiration date, so we have kept it as current time plus 5 hours, and this is the issued at date, which is the current time at which this JSON Web Token has been created. Let us now have a look at the scenario when the wrong credentials are provided by the user for when we make a call to create a token. So currently the user details, we are loading it from the custom user details service. So here we have provided only two users, one is admin and the other is role. The admin, he is having the admin role, and the password is also admin, which we have stored in the beacon format, and the user also the password is user, and the role that he is having is the role underscore user. So go to Postman, and here suppose I type username as admin1, so no such user exists, and we have already started the debug point, right? Do a send. So now we are again in the authentication controller, and in the authentication request we have got username as admin1. So run this. We are in the provider manager, the authentication provider, and here the exception is thrown such that the credentials, they are not correct, bad credentials, and we will be coming out of this. So in Postman we get 401 unauthorized, and no JSON Web Token is returned. So we are done with the code to create a JSON Web Token. Next we will be making changes so that this created JSON Web Token can be used for authorization. We'll now be looking at validation and authorization using JWT. So we'll now be using the generated JSON Web Token to authorize the user to perform operations. So instead of passing the username and password, the user will now send this generated JSON web token that he has got previously, and based on this JSON web token the server will decide whether this JSON web token is valid or not, and if it is valid, whether the particular user he will be able to get access to a particular resource. In previous tutorial where we explored the Spring Security architecture, we saw that any incoming request, it is first intercepted by filters which perform the authentication and authorization. One such example of this filter is the basic authentication filter, which is a type of once per request filter. We'll be now writing our own custom JWT authentication filter, which will also be a type of once per request filter. This custom JWT authentication filter that we'll be writing, it will intercept the incoming request and it will check if it contains a JSON web token. If it contains a JSON web token, then it will validate the JSON web token by calling the validate method of the JWT util class. If the validation it is successful, then it will create the user object using the JWT payload and store this object in the security context, which indicates that the user is authenticated. Also, in the first tutorial of this series, we had seen one advantage of JSON web token was that JSON web token it is self-sufficient. So by self-sufficient we mean that when the JSON web token it has been successfully validated, the user object will be created using the JWT payload only. It will not need any other external resources like some information from the database or anything else. So the entire authorization it will be done on the basis of this JWT payload. Let us begin with the implementation part. We'll be adding some more utility methods like the validate token to the JWT util class. So previously we have already created this JWT util class. We'll be adding some more methods to it. So this was the JWT util class that we provided. To this we had set the secret and the JWT expiration in milliseconds, which we had set in the application.properties. Also we had created the methods generate token and the do generate token to generate the JSON web token. Now we'll be creating the validate token method, to which we'll be passing the JSON web token that the user will be sending along with the request. This method it will return true if the JSON web token that is passed as an argument it is valid. So in this method we'll be extracting the claims from the JSON web token that is passed. For this we'll be making use of the jwts.parser, and here we'll have to provide the secret key also to pass the claims from the JSON web token. If this is successful, then we'll be returning true. However, if the JSON web token it has been tampered with, or there are some other issues with the JSON web token, then some exception will be thrown out of these. It can either be signature exception, malformed JWT exception, unsupported JWT exception, or illegal argument exception. Also, if the JSON web token it is valid but it has expired, then the expired JWT exception will be thrown. So here when we were creating the JSON web token, we had set the expiration date as the current date plus the JWT expiration in milliseconds that we are specifying in the application.properties, which was 5 hours. So it was current date plus 5 hours. So here suppose now this JSON web token it will be valid only for 5 hours from the time it has been created. If it is used after this time, then it will be a valid JSON web token, but it cannot be used because it has expired. So in this scenario we'll be throwing the expired JWT exception. We'll be having a look at the expired JWT exception in the next section in more detail. The next method that we'll be creating is the get username from token. So as the name suggests, we'll be extracting the username from the JSON web token. This will be required because once the JSON web token has been validated, we want to create the user object, which will be storing it in the security context so that the user will be authorized by Spring Security. So here we'll be extracting the claims from the JSON web token, and one of these claims is the get is the subject in which we are storing the username. So when we were creating the JSON web token, we had the subject here which was the username, so that we are extracting and returning as username. The next method that we'll be creating is get roles from token. As the name suggests, we'll be getting the list of roles from the JSON web token. This method will also be called once the JSON web token has been validated and we need to create the user object, in which we also need to store the roles that this particular user has. So when we were creating this JSON web token, we were checking if the user details object what roles it has. If it had the admin role, then we were putting the claim as is admin true. Similarly, when the user he had the user role, we were in the claims we were putting is user true. So now that we have got the JSON web token, from this we'll be checking the boolean values is admin and is user. So if from the claims we get is admin, it is not null and it is true, it means that this particular user he had the admin role. So we'll be setting in the roles the admin role. Similarly, if the is user, if it is true, then in the roles we'll also be adding the role user, and then we'll be returning this list of roles. So let us make these changes. Go to Eclipse. We have previously created the JWT util class. To this we'll be adding the new methods. We will first be creating the validate token method. To this method we'll be passing the JWT token which is to be validated. So we'll be trying to pass the claims from this JWT token using JWTs. If we are successful, then we will return true. This code will be putting it in a try catch block. In the catch block we'll be catching the signature exception, the malformed JWT exception, the unsupported JWT exception, and the illegal argument exception. If any of these exception is thrown when parsing the claims from the JWT token, we'll know that the given token is invalid. In such a scenario, we'll be throwing the bad credentials exception. Next, we'll also need to handle the expired JWT exception. This will be thrown if the given token has expired. Next, we'll be creating a method named getUsername from token. As the name suggests, we'll be retrieving the username from the token. So the username, we were storing it as subject in the claims. So first we'll be retrieving all the claims, and then from the claims we'll be getting the subject. Return the claims.getSubject. Finally, we'll be creating a method named getRoles from token. As the name suggests, we'll be retrieving the list of roles associated with this particular user. First, we'll be passing the claims using the token. Then we'll be creating a list of type simple granted authority which we'll be using to store the roles. Previously, when creating the JSON Web Token, if the user had the admin role, then we were creating a claim named isAdmin and we were storing the value as true. Similarly, if the user he had the user role, then we created a claim named isUser and the value was given as true. So now we'll be retrieving the isAdmin and the isUser claims, and then accordingly we'll be creating the roles of admin as well as the user. So here we are checking if isAdmin is true and it is not null, then we are adding a role of admin in the list that we have created. Similarly, if isUser is true and it is not null, then we will be adding the role user in the roles list. Finally, we'll be returning the roles list. Next, we'll be creating the custom JWT authentication filter class. So as discussed before, this class it will be of type once per request filter. This class will be responsible for intercepting the request, and once the request is intercepted, in the request we'll check if the header contains the JSON Web Token. If not, then we'll let the usual Spring Security flow take place. So here the custom JWT authentication filter will intercept the incoming HTTP request. It will check if it contains the JSON Web Token in the header. If not, then we'll be forwarding the request to the default Spring Security configurations. If we intercept the HTTP request and we find that the header it does contain a JSON Web Token, then we'll first be validating this token. On successful validation, we'll be adding the user object in the Spring context to indicate that this user has been authorized to perform the operations and Spring Security should allow it. So here the custom JWT authentication filter will intercept the HTTP request. We'll again be checking if it contains the JSON Web Token in the header. If yes, then we'll be validating the JSON Web Token. So we'll be making use of the JWT util method to validate the token. If the validation is successful, then using the JWT payload, we'll be creating a user object and we'll be storing it in the security context. Then we'll be forwarding this request to the Spring Security configurations. So let us have a look at this custom JWT authentication filter that we'll be creating. So this will extend the once per request filter class. We'll be auto-wiring the JWT util class that has the utility methods related to JSON Web Token. Also, we'll be overriding the doFilter internal method of the once per request filter. So this doFilter internal, it takes the HTTP servlet request, the HTTP servlet response, and the filter chain. Whenever any incoming HTTP request is intercepted by this filter, the doFilter internal method gets called, and in this method we'll first try to extract the JSON Web Token from the HTTP request. So here we have written the extract JWT from request method to which we pass this HTTP servlet request. So here below we have the extract JWT from request method. Before we try to look at this logic we have written inside the extract JWT from request method, let us have a look how we are actually going to pass the token using Postman. So here previously we had made a call to HTTP localhost 8080/authenticate. In the body we had passed the username and password and we had got this JSON Web Token. Next, we'll be making use of this token to access the hello admin and the hello user API that we have previously accessed. So these are get API, and the URL will be localhost 8080/hello admin or hello user. So let us first check with hello admin. So this is the URL that we are trying to access. If we try to access this URL, we'll be getting 401. So what we'll be doing is go to the authorization tab, and here we'll be adding the authorization, which will be bearer token, and then in the token we'll be adding the JSON web token that we have got previously. So this was the JSON web token that we have got. Copy this and paste it here. So what this does is, in the header it adds the authorization for us, and the authorization will be such that we'll first be having the bearer and then the token. So the first 7 words will be bearer, that is, this will be 6 words and a space, and then we'll be having the JSON web token. So in our extract JWT from request method, we first extract the authorization and we call it the bearer token. So what we actually get is this complete string. So then we want only the JSON web token, so we'll be taking a substring such that after the 7th position, that is after this bearer and space, till the end whatever is there, that will be a JSON web token. So here we return bearer token dot substring 7 comma bearer token dot length. So from the 7th position till the end of the string, this will be a JSON web token which will be returned by the extract JWT from request. Next, using the string utils dot hashtags method, we check if the extracted JSON web token, it should neither be null or blank. If it is either null or blank, then we call the chain.doFilter method, which will call the other filters in the filter chain. If the extracted JSON web token, it is not null or blank, then we'll be making a call to the validate token method of the JWT token util. If the token is valid, the validate token will return true. If this returns us true, then we'll be creating a user details object. So for creating this user details object, we'll be creating a new user object to which we'll be passing 3 parameters. First will be the username, then the password, and finally the roles that are associated with this particular user. We get the username by calling the JWT token util.get username from token method, to which we pass the JWT token, and from this the username will be extracted and returned to us. The password we'll be setting it as blank, and finally we'll again be calling the JWT token util.get roles from token method to get the roles associated with this particular user. Next, using the user details object, we'll be creating the username password authentication token object, and this username password authentication token object will be storing it in the security context holder. By doing so, we are telling the Spring security configuration that this particular user has been successfully authenticated and it can be authorized to perform the operation. Once the authentication token has been set in the security context holder, we'll again be calling the chain.doFilter method so that the other filters in the filter chain get called. Let us create the custom JWT authentication filter class. Go to Eclipse, create a new class. As discussed before, the custom JWT authentication filter class will be extending the once per request filter class. Also, we'll be making use of the component annotation for this class. The once per request filter is an abstract class and we'll need to implement its unimplemented methods. We have implemented the abstract doFilter internal method of the once per request filter class. All the logic that we write in this method will get executed exactly once for each incoming request. Next, we'll auto-wire the JWT util class. Next, we'll be creating the extract JWT from request method. So as the name suggests, this will be extracting the JWT from the incoming request. From the request, we'll be getting the authorization string. From this authorization string, we'll now be extracting the JSON web token. Next, we'll be confirming if the extracted JSON web token is a valid JSON web token. For this, we'll be making use of the validate token method of the JWT util class that we had implemented previously. If the given token is valid, then using this token, we'll be creating the user object. The user object will need 3 parameters. the username, password and authorities. So using the jwtutil.get username from token, we'll be getting the username. Password will be keeping it as blank, and again from the jwtutil.get roles from token, we'll be getting the roles. Next, using the created user object, we'll be creating the username password authentication token. To this username password authentication token object, we'll need to pass the parameters principal, credentials and authorities. So the principal will be the user details object, credentials will be blank, and the authorities will be fetching it from the jwtutil class. Finally, we'll be storing this created username password authentication token in the security context. By doing so, we are telling Spring Security that this particular user should be authorized. If the extracted JSON Web Token is null, blank or it is not valid, then we'll just be printing that security context cannot be set. Finally, we'll be calling the other filters in the filter chain. Next, we'll be creating the JWT authentication entry point class. This class, it will be returning 401 unauthorized error to clients that try to access a protected resource without proper authentication. So suppose in the request the JSON Web Token it has expired or it is not valid, then we'll be returning a 401 unauthorized error to the client along with the appropriate message. This class implements the Spring Security Authentication Entry Point interface. In this class, we'll be creating the HTTP response which should be returned to the user in case of an exception. So here, this class that we'll be creating JWT Authentication Entry Point, it will be implementing the Authentication Entry Point interface. So we'll be overriding the comments method. The comments method, the parameters are HTTP servlet request, HTTP servlet response and the authentication exception. So whenever any exception occurs, this particular class will be called the comments method, and here we'll first be setting in the response the status and the content. So the status, it will be unauthorized exception, that is SC underscore unauthorized, so this is 401. Then we'll be creating the body that will be stored in the HTTP servlet response, which will be returned back to the user. In the body, we'll be getting the exception message from the authentication exception that is there in this parameter. So let us create this class. We'll be creating it in the config package. So create a new class, JWT Authentication Entry Point. For this class, use the component annotation. Also, this class will be implementing the authentication entry point interface. Add the unimplemented methods. Next, the response will be setting the status as 401, that is unauthorized. Also, the content type will be setting it as JSON. Next, using the auth exception, we'll be creating the response message. So it does contain a cause, then we'll be creating the response message using both the get cause as well as the get message of the auth exception. However, if get cause it is null, then we'll be creating the response message only using the auth exception get message. Next, we'll be creating a map with the key as error and the value as the message that we have just created. Next, we'll be converting this map to bytes using the Jackson object mapper. Finally, the generated bytes will be provided to the response.get output stream. Next, we'll be modifying the Spring Security configuration. The changes we'll be making are, first we'll be removing the HTTP basic security as we will be making use of JWT for authorization. Next, we'll be configuring HTTP security to make use of custom JWT authentication filter and the JWT authentication entry point that we have just created. So let us look at the changes. In this Spring Security configuration class, we'll first be auto-wiring the custom JWT authentication filter and the JWT authentication entry point. Then in the configure HTTP security, we'll be configuring that if there is any exception, then the authentication entry point that we have just created should be called. As we are now making use of JSON Web Token, therefore no session should be created by Spring Security. So here we specify the session creation policy as stateless. Finally, we specify that for each incoming request, the custom JWT authentication filter should get executed. So let us make these changes. Go to the Spring Security configuration. Here first we'll be auto-wiring the custom authentication filter and the custom authentication entry point. First, create a variable of type custom JWT authentication filter. Use auto-wired with it. Similarly, auto-wire the instance of the JWT authentication entry point. Next we'll be configuring HTTP security. So previously we were making use of HTTP basic. Now we'll not be needing it, as we'll be making use of JWT for security. Next, for the HTTP security exception handling, we configure the authentication entry point as the JWT authentication entry point that we have just created. So now if any exception will occur, the commence method of this JWT authentication entry point will get called. As we are making use of JSON Web Token, so Spring Security, it should not create any session. So we specify the session creation policy as stateless. Finally, for the HTTP security, we specify that the custom JWT authentication filter should get executed first for every incoming request. So we are done with all the changes. Let us now test our application. So let us start this application in debug mode. So debug as Java application. This will start our application. Next, let us add some debug points. So the debug points will be adding them first in the custom JWT authentication filter. For all incoming HTTP requests, the do filter internal method of this custom JWT authentication filter will get executed. So let us first add a debug point here. Next, go to Postman. So in order to create the JSON Web Token, we are making use of the /authenticate URL, and in the body we are passing admin and password also as admin. Click on send. So here the request, it has come in this method. So once we get the request, we'll try to extract the JSON Web Token from the request. So here currently the user is trying to create the JSON Web Token that can be used in further requests. So there will be no JSON Web Token in this request. So let us see what happens here. So here it tries to get the authorization from the request, and the authorization, it is null. So the string utils.hashText, it will be false, and null will be returned here. So the JSON Web Token, it will be returned as null. So if the JSON Web Token is null, we just say that cannot set the security context, and we call the other filters in the filter chain. So then the security configuration that we have written here, Spring Security configuration, this will get executed. And here we are saying that if the URL, it is /authenticate, then don't do any authentication and just permit it. So our controller will get called. So here we had written the authentication controller. So this authentication controller with the URL /authenticate, it will get called, and the JSON Web Token, it will be created. So here this controller, it is getting called. So I'll just disable the breakpoints and we'll continue. So if we now go to Postman again, here the token, it has got created. Now let us try to access some resource from the application. So here we'll be making use of localhost 8080 / suppose we have exposed a URL hello admin. Let us try to access it. So initially we'll not be sending any authorization of the JSON Web Token in the request. So we do a send, and here again it is intercepted by the custom filter that we have written. It will try to extract the JSON Web Token from this request. It will be null. So now again here it is saying that cannot set the security context, and the other filters will get executed. And again the Spring Security HTTP that we have written here, these rules will get applied. So here for the hello user and the hello admin, there are some rules. Only if the user, he has the role admin, only then he can access this hello admin URL. So if we try to access it, here we are getting full authentication is required to access this resource 401. We should have also added a debug point in this JWT authentication entry point. This will get executed if any exception is thrown. So here now we have added it, and let us now try hitting this response again. So here we have not added any JSON Web Token in the request. Do a send. Here the filter gets called. The token is null, and now here this cannot set security context. So here we are coming in the commence method of the JWT authentication entry point. So here we get here we set the response as 401. The content type for the response will be setting it as JSON. The authentication exception, so here one of the parameters is the exception that we get. So here we check if it is null or not, the get cause. So cause we are getting it as null. So the message, it will only be the authentication message. We will not be appending the cause to it. We are getting the cause as full authentication is required to access this resource, and then this we return in the body. So if we go to Postman, this is the body that we are getting. So this is the key value pair that we have created there, error and the message. Let us now add the JSON Web Token to this authorization. So copy this JSON Web Token that we had just created. Here in authorization, select bearer token and paste the token here and do a send. So here again we are in the authentication filter. This time the bearer token, it will not be null, but we'll be getting bearer space and the JSON Web Token. We'll be extracting the JSON Web Token now. And now if we'll check here, the JSON Web Token, it will be this that we have put there. Next, the validate method of the JWT util, it will get called. So if we go here, let us also add a debug point here. So here we try to pass the claims from the authentication token. This will be possible only if the JSON Web Token, it is valid. So we are able to get the claims from here. These are the claims that are present there and it will return true. So our web token, it is valid. Next we'll be creating the user details object. So again you can add the debug point to these JWT util get username from token and get roles from token and check the logic there. Finally, we have created the username password authentication token object, which will be adding it to the security context holder. This will say that yes, this particular user, he should be authorized to access the resource. Then the other filters in the filter chain should get called. So here again the Spring security configuration, it will get called, and here we'll be checking if the user is trying to access the hello admin URL, does he has the role admin. So here in our custom JWT authentication filter for the user, we have already added the roles also. So yes, he will be able to access that particular controller. So actually the hello admin, it is getting returned. Let us add debug points at here also hello user and hello admin controller methods. So if we now again try to also access the hello user, so here the hello user, it is getting executed. Since this particular JSON Web Token, it has admin role, in the configuration we have specified that if he has user or admin, he will be able to access the hello user also. So here hello user is getting returned. Let us now have a look at the scenario where the JSON Web Token, it has expired and we are trying to use it. So go to source main resources application.properties. Here we have specified a property jwt.expiration date in milliseconds. So here we have specified this in milliseconds that the JSON Web Token, it should be valid for up to 5 hours. So here I will be making use of 0. So as soon as the JSON Web Token is created, the expiration date, it is 0. So immediately it will get expired. So usually this will not be the scenario that we'll be making use of, but for testing purpose I am keeping it as 0. Stop this application and start it again. Now we'll be creating the token again. So again we'll be making use of username as admin and password also as admin. Do a send. So again the controller will get called, the authentication.manager.authenticate, and here the JSON Web Token will be created for us. So I'll just remove this debug point. Yeah, so this is the token that has got created, and if we now try to use this and access the hello user URL, so in authorization I'll be putting this new token to a send. We get the bearer token, out of which we'll be extracting the JSON Web Token. Here now the validate method of the JWT util. Here now the validate method of the JWT util will get called. So go to this implementation here. So we have already added a debug point here. So if we now try to get the claims from this particular token, the exception will be thrown. That will be expired JWT authentication. Here we are getting the exception. JWT expired at this particular time. So as soon as the JSON Web Token is created, it immediately expires, as we have set the expiration time as 0 millisecond. So this exception will get thrown. The authentication entry point will get called. So our application, it has thrown expired JWT exception. Here it is showing in the console, but in the comments method of the JWT authentication entry point, the exception that we always get is insufficient authentication exception, full authentication is required to access this resource. So this is a bug in Spring Security. Each time this is the same exception that we get no matter what the scenario. So in order, we'll need to handle this JWT expired exception in a different way. So for now, just run this. In the next section, we'll be looking at how to handle this JWT expired exception. So here the user is getting a wrong message that full authentication is required to access this resource, whereas the user, he should have been shown the message that the JSON Web Token has expired. So we have seen that if we pass the expired JSON Web Token in the header, we'll still be getting the exception that full authentication is required. We get this exception, full authentication is required to access this resource. Instead, we should be getting some other exception like this token has expired and when it has expired. The same is the case if suppose we pass some wrong credentials in this token. Still will be in this case we should get bad credentials exception, but we'll still be getting this exception, full authentication is required to access this resource. This is because of Spring Security issue or a bug. So now we'll be making changes to the code so that the user, he gets the exception informing that the JSON Web Token has expired or that the credentials given by the user, they are not correct. Let us begin by configuring and testing the JWT expiration date. So if the JWT class, it throws the JWT expiration exception or the bad credentials exception, we will be catching these exceptions in the custom JWT authentication filter and then saving them as a request attribute. So if we go to the code that we had developed before, here we have the JWT util class which has the validate token method. So if we try to validate the token by trying to pass the claims from this token, we can get this signature exception, malformed exception, unsupported exception, illegal argument exception. In this case, the bad credentials exception will be thrown. If the token it has expired, then the expired JWT exception will be thrown. We call this validate token method from the custom JWT authentication filter class. So inside the do filter internal method, we check if the given token is valid or not. For this we call the JWT token util.validate token. So here we'll be putting this code that we have written inside a try block. And if the exception is thrown from the JWT token util.validate token method, we'll be catching it. And here also we have the HTTP servlet request object. So inside this request object, we'll be storing the exception as an attribute. So let us once again have a look at the changes we'll be making. Inside the custom JWT authentication filter class, we have the do filter internal method. Whatever logic we are writing inside, we'll be putting it in a try block. And in the we'll be catching the expired JWT exception and the bad credentials exception, and these exceptions will be storing it in the request object that we have as an attribute. So let us make these changes. Go to the custom JWT authentication filter, and here we'll be putting this in the try block. Now we'll be catching the exceptions. We'll be catching two exceptions. One will be the expired JWT exception and other will be the bad credentials exception. So catch the expired JWT exception. Similarly catch the bad credentials exception. Now we'll be getting the request object, and in the request object we'll be storing them as an attribute named exception. In the JWT authentication entry point class, we have written the code that creates the response sent to the user in case of an exception. So let us go to that class. So here we have the JWT authentication entry point class. Inside this we have the comments method. This method gets called if any exception is thrown, and here we have the auth exception. So using this auth exception, we were creating the response that was sent to the user. Now we'll be making changes to this code. We'll first be checking if this request object, it contains an attribute named exception. If it does contain this attribute, then we'll be extracting it and using the exception attribute to create the response that should be sent to the user. If it does not contain the attribute named exception, then then this code will remain as it is. So let us have a look at the changes that we are going to make. So from the request object, we'll try to get the attribute named exception. So this attribute, it is of type exception. So we'll be extracting it. If we find that it is not null, then we'll be making use of this exception to create the response message. However, if we find that the request, it does not contain any attribute named exception, so this will be null, then this exception, then the older code that we have written, that will be used as it is. That is, this auth exception will be used to create the response message. So let us make these changes. From the request object, we'll first be getting the attribute named exception. This extracted attribute named exception, it will be of type exception, so we'll be casting it to exception. Next we'll be checking if this extracted exception, if it is not null. If it is not null, then we'll be making its use to create the response, else we'll be making use of the auth exception to create the response. So if the exception it is not null, then just as before when we were using the auth exception, we'll be making the changes to create the response message using this exception. So we are done with all the changes. Let us now test them. So in the application.properties, we have kept the expiration date in millisecond as 0. So as soon as the token is generated, it will become expired. So let us start this application. I'll be starting it in the debug mode. So the application it has started. I've disabled all the debug points. So we'll first be creating the JSON Web Token. So the URL is /authenticate and username and password will be admin. This is the token that is generated. Now let us try to get access to a resource. So we'll be getting the access to the user, to the resource hello admin. So let us try it without the token. Actually in the authorization already the token is there. Bearer auth. Put this latest token here. So here a proper response is getting returned to the user. The user will know that yes, the JSON Web Token it has expired, so he needs to create a new one. Suppose if the token I just change one value to v maybe. So here the malformed JWT exception is getting correctly returned back to the user. So actually the bad credentials exception is getting thrown in the JWT util class, which is being caught and stored in the request object, and then using it we are creating this exception message. Hope you have understood this tutorial. You can download the source code from here. Thank you.